Annyeong Haseo. This is Hazardous Opinions. My name is Eric, and I am here today with Nicholas,
Annyeong.
Andy,
Insa.
and today we are covering Train to Busan. It is an action horror thriller that came out in 2016.
Yeah, this is a recent one, and like Anted Hoon that we just recently covered, again, this is a pre-warning that we're going to butcher all the names and all the pronunciations, as we do.
Yes.
But yeah, this one is directed by Sang Ho Yeon. I don't really know much of his work as not a big Korean person, but I'm getting more into the to the style. We got a few bigger actors, or at least bigger Korean actors, that did branch over into American media as well. Mae Dong Suk is one of our main characters here, who also plays in the Eternals, a newer Marvel film. And then our main character, Gong Yu, who plays the main father, protagonist of the movie here, was in Squid Game and Silent Sea, two other very good Korean TV shows that I highly recommend people watch. But you can check this movie out. This one is actually really widely available. I watched this one on Tubi with ads, but you can actually watch it on YouTube for free with ads as well. So very easy to go and check out. What do you guys think of this movie?
I really liked it. I liked the way that the zombies were depicted, with the almost white over their eyes and the veins coming out of, like, on their faces and stuff. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I like this movie too. Yeah, it was it had very fast zombies, and which was really fun to watch. Made some really tense moments, and not as violent as most zombie movies we see. There's a lot more, blood and gore going on. But there's plenty of blood in this. But the zombies definitely had the upper hand in this. Usually, when we have zombie movies, we have like a group of badass individuals who just like take up arms and just annihilate some zombies, but it was kind of the opposite in this. It was very intense. It was good.
Yeah. What do you guys give this out of 10?
I'll give this like a 7 out of 10. I don't think it was like my favorite zombie movie, but it's definitely up there.
I'll give it a 7 as well. I liked it for what it was. It's a really good zombie movie. There's just a few. I guess I'm kind of a stickler on, like, there was some CGI moments that weren't that great, but
Yeah.
you can't really define that. You can't really define a whole movie just by the use of CGI. So I really liked it.
Yeah. I guess I'm the odd one out here. This is actually probably one of my favorite zombie movies of all time. This is probably like a 9.2-ish for me. So big fan of this. Big fan of World War Z type zombies as they kind of popularized it in the media, even though it was a thing before that. And running zombies are just, I like it when it's actually a threat, not Walking Dead zombies.
Walking Dead zombies are a joke. I mean, let's be real.
And there's a lot of heart in this movie, and a lot of, I don't know, just different ways that you don't see in American zombie movies. That it was different. Like you'd mentioned, like you can't kill it's not like the badass individuals going through and just killing all these zombies. Like, from what we've seen, no one actually even killed any, other than them getting like smushed under the train at one point.
Yeah.
They just kept getting back up.
Yeah, it's like they didn't know exactly what to do with these zombies. Like, every zombie movie you see, that like, you gotta kill it in the brain. That's what kills them. And then like everybody takes up like some either guns or knives or swords or something and just start slicing zombies' heads off and stuff like that. And wasn't much of that. It was more of defense mode because these zombies are actually really dangerous.
Hmm. They had to
Yeah.
use their brain instead of the brawn to kind of get the upper hand on these zombies.
Yeah, and they were interesting too because like they as soon as it like went dark, they went through a tunnel. Like the zombies got kind of docile,
Yeah.
so they just they had to
Lose
figure
their
out ways
aggro.
to get past them while that was happening and all that. Yeah, a lot of brains involved.
Yeah. So for those of you that haven't seen the movie in a little while, Train to Busan takes place partially, at least in the beginning, in Seoul, in South Korea, where our father, Sok-woo, and his daughter need to take a train to Busan, hence the title, and because he's going to go deliver the daughter to his separated ex-wife. And just as they leave, the zombie apocalypse kind of hits, and there we start a 2 hour, very high speed action fest of excitement as everyone tries to survive the train journey to Busan, where they're suspected to be a safe haven from the military.
Yeah, I was like really excited to see like Busan. I thought they'd actually get there. Spoiler alert! Sorry. The the group, everybody on the train, like dwindles down to
Yep.
a very small amount of people, and yeah, I mean, Busan must have been really secured, but I don't know how they got that information so quickly.
Right.
I mean,
But
they do get there at the end. The or survivors, the daughter and the pregnant mom. I
yeah,
think that's like the entry checkpoint there at the end.
yeah, but like my question is like how far is Seoul to Busan? Because like this whole apocalypse happened really quickly. Before they got on the train, they had no idea what was going down until
Uh,
it was
I
too late.
just looked it
travel
up,
times.
and a train from Seoul to Busan takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes.
Really? That 2 hours?
I
Two
guess so.
hours.
I mean,
Well,
that's how long the movie is, so that makes sense.
right. Plus they have bullet trains too. So I personally have never, I guess, been on one before, but I've heard they go really, really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one was the KTX though, which says it's about 2 hours 15 minutes. Oh, which is a bullet train. Sorry, that's just what they call it, I guess.
So one thing you gotta wonder is like how quickly did the word spread of this zombie virus before all of Busan turned into a safe haven because they had like containers all built up and they had like the whole military there and everything in the course of 2 hours.
Yeah, that's a quick response time.
Right.
Pretty
Yeah,
impressive. But I mean, with how fast the virus spread, Seoul and I forget the other city that they stopped at on the way, but those two cities fell really quickly.
they did. I mean, with zombies this fast, you can't really be that surprised. But another thing is like, that lady in the beginning that got bit and that got
Yeah.
Hmm.
stuck on the train? It took
Yep.
her like a fat minute for her to turn. And then it seemed like they were turning faster and faster as the movie went on.
Right. It was like near instant. Like if they got bit, you'd see that zombie leave to go bite another person, and then they would just instantly transform into a zombie and then start chasing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Willpower or plot convenience? Who knows?
I'm leaning towards plot convenience.
Right.
Our beautiful bodybuilder guy who holds off the zombies with the door there for a while, or with the zombie that he holds up against the door. He lasted for like 3 minutes after being bit.
Right.
Yeah.
So
So
that
it's
made me wonder if it was like since most people were just getting bit in like the neck or the face, maybe since he got bit in the hand, it maybe the virus took a little bit longer to travel to his brain, but I'm not
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good point.
got that
Depends
Last
on
of
where
Us
you get
logic
bit.
there. Yep.
Yeah, most people are getting bit in the neck though. Like
Right.
it was GG
Yeah.
as soon as that happened.
I did like you said, there's not a lot of gore in this film. I think that's partially probably to save budget, but as well like the type of zombies that they are, since they like went straight for the neck to instantly infect.
Hmm.
They didn't like eat people. They just like infected people and then moved on. So I think that's also like a bigger reason why there wasn't that need for all the blood. It's just you get bit once and that's it.
Yeah.
Right,
You're
like in The
being
Walking
torn
Dead,
apart.
where you see like zombies just eating the entrails out of people, and
Yeah.
Yeah, like most zombies do it for food. It seems
hmm
like these zombies just do it purely for the sake of infecting.
To spread. Yeah, like it's
Yeah.
actually like a virus, and
Yeah.
they kind of hint on that. Like I didn't fully understand the whole subplot of he's a hedge fund manager, but somehow like his investments is what caused this to start spreading. Like his friend was phoning him at the end, and they're like, "We caused this. We were investing in this company that
hmm
it released from, or something like that." I didn't understand that whole plot line. I don't know if you guys did.
I didn't either. I do remember in the beginning that while they were working at the firm, he told them to just sell everything. I don't know if that implied just for that company or like
hmm
all the stocks that they had. Like,
Okay.
because apparently there was like news headlines of like crazy things going down and people are going to freak out and start selling. So what they wanted to do, like I've seen a different movie about this too, where how the stock market crash in 2008
Yeah.
happened because all the investors just sold all their things at the same time. And because I don't remember what the what happened in 2008, but like there was something going down that
The
people
housing crisis.
the housing crisis. Yeah. So
Yeah.
people were all agitated and scared. So they knew that they were going to sell all their stocks, which was going to result in a crash. Well, you got to sell your stocks high. So, like, it was about an investment firm that was just going to sell all their stocks, just liquidate everything. And it was going to piss a lot of people off because a lot of people invest through them,
Hmm.
but they just wanted to come out on top. So, I think
Yeah.
that was kind of the same situation here. And yeah, maybe they were investing in them.
Yeah. Maybe the subsequent bankruptcy of that company from dumping all their stock is why they released the virus. Maybe they're pissed off,
Maybe.
but I don't know.
Yeah, it
Not
could
that it
have been.
matters, anyways. The apocalypse is here, and now you got to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yep.
one of the I guess subplots of this movie that I've seen a lot of other ones, but I thought they did it pretty well was kind of like that the estranged father and daughter relationship where they don't really, I guess, talk that much at towards the beginning because he's working all the time, and then towards the end, like they they tend to their relationship gets stronger. One note I had at the beginning of the movie was he got his daughter a Wii. Well, I think it was for her birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
That movie came out in 2016, but the Wii came out in 2006. So I'm like, I don't know when this was supposed to be taking place, but
Yeah,
like
and then
there's
you pan over to see that she already has a Wii as well.
She
right.
already has one. Yeah. I think that might have been going to show that, like, he didn't even put any thought into what to give her.
Mm-mm.
He just went to the store and bought something that, looked
Well,
cool, I guess. And it was
yeah,
Well,
really cheap
he
because
asked
it's 10 years old.
his coworker there, who was obviously like in his 20s or maybe 30s.
right.
He's like, "What do kids like nowadays?" And he just went off like what that guy said.
Oh, yeah. It's like, my kids like their Wii. It's like, okay, I'll go out and buy a Wii.
How old are your kids? Oh, they're like 18 now.
Yeah. And he bought her that before too. So like, because it's his house, or I don't know if it was his house or his mom's house. I think it was his though.
I think his mom was just maybe just staying with him because what I was assuming is maybe like his dad passed away or something, and then his mom moved in with him. I'm not sure what, I guess, retirement
Yeah.
home looks like in South Korea,
I
but
I feel like I see this a lot in Korean media. I don't know if it's kind of like Hispanic households where you have multiple generations of family living together. Like in a lot of like Korean movies and TV, you've seen like usually the mom is living with the like son or daughter and their new spouse. So I don't know if that's a trend or just a movie thing, but
I'm a I'm gonna go with both. I'm not exactly sure, but that sounds like it's a common thing.
yeah, I like that they also, even though they're getting away from a lot of cliches of zombie movies with this one, they still have to drop the normal divorced dad cliches. Like,
Yeah.
oh, he doesn't know what his daughter likes. He doesn't go to her recitals. Just I don't know. I feel like movies can improve on that. That's one of the cliches that I haven't seen much digression from. It's always the same tropes every time for the divorced parent.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it's one of those. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I guess.
maybe I don't know. Maybe it's some people see it as relatable. I don't know, but like you said, there's so many instances of it happening in media. I think we're fine to move away from it for at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always like missing a recital, missing a baseball game, and trying to be there, but work gets in the way. And
You.
yeah,
That brings me also to the conversation that he does have with what's his character's name? Sang Hwa, the big buff guy, where they have that little brief conversation in the bathroom and stuff, and they're like, "I know you're kind of a dick, and I see you as that, but I can see that you work really hard for your daughter, and you do care about her and stuff." And it's like one day she'll see that you're working this hard for her, even though
Right.
you weren't there.
And he's like, dads always get the short end of the stick. Um, but yeah, like you said, once she's older, she'll see that all the hard work was for her.
Yep.
One note I had was, do zombies only attack when they can see you? Because then the woman splashed water on the window, and then she put the newspaper on it, and then the zombies kind of didn't know anymore. Like, but then later in the movie, when they went through the tunnel, like you said, Eric, they got kind of docile when there was no light. So I wonder if it's like if they kind of prioritize like sight and then hearing and then maybe sense. I don't know if we had any like zombies smell in this movie, did we?
no, they for sure can't smell because I remember when they were in that train car and they were sneaking out of it after the whole train thing. They were like crawling up on top
Oh yeah.
across the whole herd of zombies, and then they got out of the tunnel and it was light again. So he like had a quick reaction and tossed them like into the seats so they wouldn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
And then that one zombie came over and like was like inches away from them and had no idea. So I'm sure if they could smell, maybe they could smell, but it's not like enhanced. They would have been able to spot them, but I
Right.
think it's solely on site, which is kind of a strange thing. They must have like it's not good eyesight because they can't see anything because it wasn't even that dark during the tunnels.
Yeah.
It's like so
Yeah, they could still see.
they could
So,
still see.
like Nick mentioned, like when you turned your eyes like glassed over. So I almost wonder if it's like some sort of like severe version of cataracts, and they
Oh
just like
yeah.
become nearly blind,
Yeah,
so they can only like see when
it
it's like perfectly light out.
that's also interesting because like I wonder how they can like distinguish from each other because if you're like almost blind but you're when there's bright light you can see,
Yeah.
who's to say you're just gonna not start eating the zombies or the
It's
zombies aren't gonna start eating each other or whatever. They don't really eat either, so like
a good point.
Yeah, they just kind of wander around until they see a human that hasn't been infected yet. It's like, you need to be infected.
Another thing is, are you safe at night then? You can just wander the streets at night?
Yeah, that'd be cool if we saw a sequel to this where, like, it had like kind of advanced society in the apocalypse where they kind of know how to handle the zombies, and then you only go out at night and stuff like that.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Or kind of like in The Walking Dead where they cover themselves in guts and then walk through the crowd.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So if it was nighttime, you kind of just go out and kind of walk amongst the zombies. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, that'd be a nice flip on the normal zombie thing. Usually, it's you only go out in day because it's not safe at night.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a nice flip. So I'm thinking of Dying Light or any zombie game ever where zombies just get stronger at night.
Yep.
And faster.
Nick, you mentioned the CGI in this movie. I thought it was a little below par, but I really did like the deer in the intro. I thought that one was pretty
Right.
decently done, and then just
I thought that was
I
going to
think
be like the expectation for the CGI, but then
yeah. Then you
some of the
see
zombies and some of the
anytime
big
they topple
explosions
over
and
each
stuff.
other.
Right.
Yep. When they're in the big crowd and then they all pile over each other, those ones are bad.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought some of the zombies really cracked me up on how they were walking around because they were just like really twitchy, and then like some of them looked like they were like smiling and just like showing their teeth and like "Arr, arr." It cracked me up. And then along with the CGI, like you could tell like they were heavily edited when they were moving, because like how they jerked around, just like when they twitched and then like moved back and forth, like it was just so fast.
Right. Like when there was a few instances that just kind of caught me off guard where it was dark and then the zombies were kind of wandering around, and then it all of a sudden just becomes bright again, and a zombie will be facing away, and then all of a sudden it'll just jerk his head towards the camera like, oh, I knew you were there all along. It's just like
Yeah.
they could have
What?
done that a little bit better where like the zombie kind of was like glancing towards that direction or something, but not like an
Yeah.
instant head jerk as soon as the
Yeah.
lights come back on.
As soon as the lights come back on, I knew you were there. I was just acting like I didn't know you were there.
The from what I had seen from like behind the scenes stuff, I think they had like actual contortionists for a lot of the zombie extras
Oh,
in this. There's one Korean show I watched, like Physical 100. And they actually had
Yeah.
one of the zombie actors was one of the contestants in that, and like
Really?
just gonna see like him talk about like some of the stuff of the movie is really cool, and like he can actually do a lot of the moves, or like he does a lot of those zombie moves that look like really inhuman and weird. That like you're like, how can you bend that way? But he's like
Yeah.
actually like showing it off and bending that way and chasing people.
Almost like he didn't have any shoulder blades, because it's like his arm was like sticking up in the air and it was like backwards.
Yeah,
Man.
just double jointed everything.
Yeah. Shit goes hard.
so in terms of people to absolutely despise, I fucking hated that person, that old business guy who like just put himself for everyone else.
Man, dude, he was like lower than like, yeah, he was lower than human. He
Mm,
sucked so bad. I mean, clearly written as a antagonist, because
Yep.
like he was like supposed to be hated, but like, man, like this guy was just like ridiculously bad as a person.
It got to a point with our evil businessman that it was like cartoonish, and I almost at one point I was theorizing maybe it's not an actual person, but like a supernatural theme of like the badness in humanity or something like that. Like that's how cartoony his actions started to get, where he just
Yeah.
sacrificed every person every chance he could get. Like, dude, you're gonna run out of people to throw behind
I
you.
know.
You did it like 3 times.
I actually cracked up on how crazy this part was when that baseball guy and his girlfriend, well, not his girlfriend, they like liked each other obviously, but like
Yeah.
those two were running away and they got in that train car. This dude comes up out of nowhere, like looks her dead in the face, and then just throws her behind
Right.
him.
And he does it to the employee on the train, and he did it to the conductor. And
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna get away with no
Oh
train
man,
conductor?
I wanted him to die a horrible death for sure. Like he
Well,
sucked.
I thought he did. Well, when that grandma let open that door and then all the zombies flooded in.
I
I
thought
guess
he
it
did
was kind
too.
of maybe like a shock value to kind of see him alive in the washroom with that other guy. But yeah,
Probably
he
sacrificed
was
his way to get in there.
Yeah,
right.
he probably did, pushing everybody behind him to get in there. And then, yeah, I was like severely disappointed to see him still alive in there. I'm like, oh my god, the one guy out of all of them, and he's still there, still kicking.
I thought that was a very funny scene. The whole when right before they get avalanched by those zombies there, they're sitting there tying the door to all the people they just kicked out, and now they just put themselves in a train car with no escape
Hmm.
between people who they are accusing to be infected and a horde of infected. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why didn't you guys go to the next car?
I
Right.
I did not
And then
understand
they
their.
they tied the door and they're focusing all their efforts there, trying to keep the possible infected humans out. Meanwhile, this older lady just lets them in from behind. I thought that was all funny that they had the entirely wrong focus.
Yeah, stop her, stop her. I'm not going to stop her though. He was just bossing people around, like that train employee guy who's just like manipulating him.
You know,
Well, that grandma must have went through like one heck of a roller coaster of her emotions because she was like a shell of a person when she thought she got separated from her sister, and then she sees her, through the window pane, and then all of a sudden she is happy again, and then she just dies. That 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 I would
Yeah,
never want to experience that.
died
yeah, that was
unnecessarily
nuts.
too, though. It wasn't like even a sacrifice.
It wasn't. I don't understand what that was. I'm like, you just got to take one step forward and then like close the door behind you. Like
I
she
think
had
it
this
was
whole thing.
one of those like I'm giving up because I can't stand the way that humanity is type of thing. Like she was seeing
Oh,
that, oh, they were just going to let us die. Like maybe it's not
Right.
even worth living among these people.
yeah, that's true. Be now or later when they
Yeah.
turn on you.
I was gonna add one thing. That baseball player, he's actually in another Korean movie that I really really love. Is called Parasite. It actually
Oh,
won an Oscar, or I don't know if is it an Oscar or is it a um, Best Picture or whatever. But yeah,
Yeah,
that movie was so great. I don't know if you guys haven't seen that. I suggest you put that in maybe one of your episodes. That'd be
I have. It's
I've
very good.
yeah, I've always wanted to see that. I've heard good things about it. You said it was the baseball guy that was in that.
yeah. He plays like the brother of like the family that's going around, and I'm not gonna spoil it for you, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'll definitely give it a watch. But I mean, speaking of parasites, I suppose you could say this virus kind of acts like a parasite. It acts more like a parasite than a virus because it seems
Yeah.
to be like a hive mind and purely for the sake of like finding new hosts. I don't know.
Yeah, just wants to spread itself and like doesn't have any intention on killing its host, at least not that we've seen in the short time of this movie.
Yeah. I mean, it came out of a lab, so I guess it is possible. You kind of took the intelligence of a parasite and put it into a virus.
Yep.
That'd be cool. I need more of this universe for sure.
Yeah. There is another movie that I think is in the same universe. It's not specifically stated. It's called like hashtag alive. It's also another
Oh
South
yeah,
Korean zombie film.
I've seen that.
Same exact type of zombies. I
Yeah,
wouldn't doubt if it's like also in the same time frame universe thing.
yeah, I like that movie.
I like that very early on they're not very subtle about who the villain's going to be.
No.
The daughter is trying to get into a bathroom that the pregnant woman's in, and our villain comes over and or no, it was the homeless guy in there, and he's like, "Oh, if you do get bad grades, you're gonna end up like him." And she's like, "Well, my mom says people that say things like that are villains or bad guys or something like that." Like, okay, real subtle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then he says, "Well, she must have not gotten good grades then, huh?"
Yeah,
yeah. He just started out as a piece of shit.
you. I love then at the end when he finally gets bit and is turning and stuff. He cries to his mom like a little baby.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like this whole time. I'm like, what is this guy like trying to live for? Like, what is he living for? Like the tenacity of his self preservation is just unlike anything else I've seen.
Yeah, like your money's not worth shit anymore now when the
It's
Nope.
apocalypse
not.
starts.
He
Doesn't
just
matter if you were a COO.
yeah, he's thinking survival and that's it. And it's like, yeah, I don't know, like what is he living for? And it's like, I gotta get home to my mom. And it's like, okay, I guess that's somewhat noble, but I don't think it was worth the lives that costed just to get home. I don't know. I think the whole thing is just him being selfish.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of that last scene, I really liked that moment where that train was going on along the track, and there was like just that giant chain link fence of zombies, and they were kind of like using each other as a platform to get to the main character and his daughter and that pregnant woman. I really liked that
Yeah,
scene.
they were all like forming a little bridge, and then that one like ran across their bodies.
Yeah. And
It kind of lends credence to your parasite theory.
I was thinking like there's you know how they were all holding on to it and then like the train like started slowing down,
Oh
like it
yeah,
was just getting dragged down. But I'm like, this is a locomotive. Like it's pulling like 30 train cars all the time. But then I thought like, well, they're all getting dragged across the ground, so it's probably, train cars are way different than, you know, a mass of bodies being pulled
right.
because, the more friction. But then I was thinking like, are these zombies that are on the bottom with a bunch of other zombies on top of them just getting turned into paste? Like just like getting dragged there,
It
holding
gotta
on
be.
to another zombie. I don't know. Like I thought that was kind of ridiculous.
And those rocks that they use in train yards are not like you're just going through gravel. Like they're big,
Right.
thick
There's
rocks.
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was
Like,
even one extra who did like a roll through the rocks as they were chasing him. Like, ooh, that still had to hurt, even though you were
yeah.
like probably exaggerating your movement.
Yeah. Stuntmen are pretty crazy though. Like they do a lot of crazy stuff and, um,
Yeah,
I hope they get paid enough to do the shit that they do.
hope so. I mean, it's a pretty dangerous job.
Yeah.
Were you guys expecting to the people that survived to survive, or were you kind of expecting different people to survive?
I thought we'd have more than two, I guess. But if I knew going forward that it was two, I mean, it's always going to be the pregnant woman and a child.
Yeah.
That's just how it goes.
I knew the child was never going to die because nobody, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, no one's going
that's
to
just,
kill a child.
no. It might have happened before in a film. I don't remember it. It probably happened probably one time. Other than that, like, never happens. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
what was to be expected. I did not expect just those two, maybe a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just kind of shocked at like how many people died on that train. You think more people would like want to band together and try to
Hmm.
figure out a thing, but it was like literally those group of people that are actually trying to move forward and actually, strategize on how to survive other than everybody else just being like, sheep listening to the first person that tells them what to do. I don't know.
You know,
Thought a little more arguing was going to happen or something, but no, it's just like I was shocked at how many people were just like, "Oh yeah, fuck them, they're
yeah.
infected."
Oh, when that movie gets going, it gets going.
It
Like
does.
people start getting infected, and it's just a chain
Yep.
of events of constant infection.
Yeah,
It went fast.
I like that about it though. It's constant action and then maybe like 5 seconds of, downtime or consequences about what just happened, and then the action picks right back up again. I really like that.
yeah.
Yeah,
It almost
keeps you
seemed
going.
like the zombies get faster after they. I mean, obviously, okay. So you can't say that there's that many athletic people that are they turn into track stars after they get turned into a zombie. You know what I mean? So like they actually like seemed like they got faster and I don't know, like you'd think there'd be a little bit slower zombies, but they all were just really fast.
That is one thing I was wondering when the last of the baseball players, other than the captain or whatever he was, got infected. They ran a lot faster. So I
Yeah.
didn't know if like your previous things help with that.
I don't know. Maybe. Then you just got a stat increase to everything as soon as
Yeah,
you turn.
they were going. I think that whole section when they're like off the train for the first time is probably the most exhilarating like section in the movie when they're
Yep.
all running down the stairs or up the escalator at first, which is gotta suck. Like they're almost lucky that they're trapped in such a confined space within the train because they have a lot more options to deal with it.
Yeah.
But out in the open, you're fucked. They were coming from everywhere.
Yeah. Did you guys expect the whole checkpoint to be overrun when they got there?
Part of me was because when the train conductor was kind of radioing that just for like a check at Busan to make sure everything was safe. They couldn't really give a straight answer.
Yeah,
So
But why would they lead them to believe that it was okay, but or maybe they just didn't know because
right.
they didn't get any. Oh yeah, that's right. Because they didn't know because they didn't get any response back from that checkpoint. So
Well, I guess too, if you don't get a response, you can just kind of assume that maybe it's overrun. So, but
yeah,
I don't know, they only had forward to go. They couldn't really go anywhere else, so they just had to keep on going and seeing if maybe it was a safe haven because every place else they've checked has gone bad already. So
yeah. I would have appreciated like a little more caution, I guess, because it seemed like they all were just moving in a herd and were just expecting safety. And yeah, I don't know. I couldn't imagine like with all the shit that you just dealt with on that train, you think you're safe now. Like I don't know.
yeah. I really like the. I couldn't think of the word, but that like sense of like relief or that amazing feeling inside you when Gong Yu decks the asshole.
Yep,
Like after they finally
hmm
get into that cab, he just fucking knocks him out.
and then
I
he's
was
like,
really hoping they just beat the shit out of him.
right,
Because yeah, that was not okay. But then he was like, they kicked him out, and he was walking past them. I'm like, give him one more punch in the nose just to be,
Yeah,
right.
you know.
just one more.
Well, then again, like after he does deck him, he yells to everyone that he's infected. But you
And
can't
then they just
if
believe him.
right, yeah, you can't just take the word of one guy who's been an asshole the whole time. You gotta at least see for yourself.
Yeah,
He should have bit him after that, even though he
yeah,
wasn't infected.
yeah. Just bit him somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I said before. Like, these people are just acting like sheep. They just believed everything he said, and then were acting in panic on everything. It's like, no, no, no. Is any one of you, just gonna kind of, you know, contradict his opinion a little bit
or
or
have
Yeah,
any
challenge it?
individual thought.
Yeah,
that's all it
but
takes. Is
that
just
never
one or two
happened.
ringleaders.
Suppose they were just so overwhelmed with panic that they just went with the whatever he said.
You, I was almost physically facepalming when they are running back from the station that was overrun to go back onto the train, and there's like two or three idiots. They opened up the train compartment that was specifically locked because of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
It just pours out from that way too.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah,
you guys, you
come
didn't even
on.
look in the window. I get you were in a hurry, but come on now.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, they weren't thinking that much when they were just too much panic going on.
Yeah, this movie is fucking sad overall.
It is.
Like, it's just person after person dying, and like just bigger gut punches after each one. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a
Mm-hmm.
more and more important character that dies. And the whole scene at the end where he's just like crying and the trying to hide himself from his daughter
Yep.
so she doesn't see him jump off, and that whole scene is just fucking sad.
You got to admit, though, he didn't have to grab him in the mouth.
He didn't, but I think once he realized that like he fucked up, he decided to use it to his advantage and then drag him because of that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
That,
guess when you're fighting, yeah, I don't know, you forget. I guess even if you're fighting
he
like a
made it
human,
easy
don't
for him, though.
don't put
He's
your
just
hand in
like,
someone's mouth.
he literally just like went around to his head and he's like, here, bite me, you know? I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
that could be your last resort. I know he was about to bite his daughter, but I don't know. Like, I feel like there could have been another way, but
I felt the
plot
same way
convenience.
with the bigger guy when he's holding the door closed from the horde, and he puts his hand right at the edge of the door to try and shut it again, and they bite his knuckles. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude,
Yeah, you could
come on
have.
now.
Yeah, I could have figured something out there. Well, I think he was like trying to like push their head out so he could close the door. But
Yeah,
even then, you couldn't even trust those doors. How many doors have shattered before?
Right.
Like I get it. There's not much else you could do when you're on a train, but you think at one point like you're gonna stop out in the middle of nowhere and just get off the train. I don't know, but they just wanted to
I
get to Busan. I get it.
right. I will say some of the action scenes were pretty cool. Like when they were trying to get from one train car to like five train cars down, and they started like they wrapped their arms in like this kind of almost tape like thing, and then that big guy was just kind of went all brawler mode and started punching him in the face and kicking them and stuff.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
yeah,
yeah.
that was cool. I
It's
just
like, what
thought
do
that
you?
was like, what is he? Is he going in there with no weapon though?
Right, like
Like
all they had was like maybe they had that police baton and the shield, and they had maybe like a
One
baseball
baseball
bat
bat.
because of
Yep.
that
yeah,
team, but they were not
like
well equipped for this at all.
no, I didn't expect him to either. But like,
Right.
at least give him the shield. That's way better than just using fists against zombies. I thought that was absolutely crazy.
I like the taping. It's always smart when they do that to try and protect you from getting infected.
hmm
And I'm glad he finally took off that fucking suit coat that he was wearing for half the
Yeah,
Yeah.
the
movie.
scarf.
Like, dude,
Yep.
you gotta be boiling your ass off after moving that much. But he takes his coat off and then he wraps his arms and then leaves his entire upper arms exposed.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you just evened out your liabilities here. But I do really like when they're moving through that train car because it's like you can't kill these things, at least as far as we know at this point. So they're just trying to say, like, how do we get through this crowd, pushing them all to behind us instead? And they do a really good job of just knocking the hell out of them with brute force.
hmm Yeah, I'm trying to think of a way that they could have Like I get they had to get through what 4 train cars to get to where they were,
Yeah.
but yeah, I was thinking maybe I think at one point all the zombies were like in the back of the train, and then I'm like, okay, easy, just detach that one train car. I don't know if that's possible actually.
Oh, you said it
Like,
wasn't early in the movie.
yeah, so there we go. Because I guess it is a bullet train, and they're all
He like
Maybe
special
connected
made
rules.
different
together.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. I like that every train car that they did have to go through though was a different tactic every time. Like one was sneaking around them, one was like tricking them with the phone, which is a pretty smart thing,
yeah,
and then just like brute force through it.
yeah. Like at the towards the beginning though, the way they were like piling over each other, like hitting the ceiling even, like where's all this momentum coming from? Are they like throwing each other like above each other? Like they were literally like hitting the ceiling and then like doing that. So like I don't even know if even if you were climbing over each other, like that's just nuts.
Yeah, the
But
physics almost don't add up. Like in World War Z, you kind of like understand it because you're like, okay, there's thousands of them piling on each
yeah.
other. I guess they could climb a wall or something. But this, they had like 50 zombies, and all of a sudden they were like flying into the air in a big pile.
Yep.
Like when they were chasing them in the train yard. I'm like, how did you guys all aggregate to the middle there? Like what?
They perfected the World War Z method.
Yeah, they just start rolling in a big ball.
Yeah.
Another moment, I guess, where I could this the CGI wasn't that great was when it was right after that old businessman kind of threw the baseball guy's girl to like the zombie, and then he took like I can't remember if he just took his elbow or something, and he started bashing into the window. You would think that like where at the point where his elbow is, that's where the window starts to crack, but it's like cracking in various other places instead. So
Oh, yeah, I did notice that. It was just like it was as if he was like putting a whole like square thing into the window, and it was just like
right,
cracking from there, from all of, like the outside points and stuff.
Hmm.
I wonder what the budget was for this movie and what it
Had to have been
took in.
high. There's
Yeah,
a lot of
10,
extras in this and a lot of CGI.
10 billion won. I don't know what that translates to American.
10 billion won.
Looks like $7.4 million.
Oh,
Damn, so they made
yeah,
bank off this movie because they made
yeah,
about 100 million on this movie. Looks
100
like
billion,
100 million American.
100 million American. Wow,
So they like more than 10 times their profit.
that's crazy.
So that's insane. That's a successful movie.
Yeah,
I'd say.
I mean they put this up there with I guess train movies along with Snowpiercer.
That yeah, I did get some Snowpiercer vibes from some scenes.
Yeah, Snowpiercer's a good movie. If you're into train movies,
Yeah,
Snowpiercer's a good one. Bullet Train's a good one.
very niche genre. It's
Yeah, should put that under action horror thriller train.
train movies. Yep.
Yeah,
Snakes on a train.
snakes
Snakes
on
on
a
a train.
train, zombies on a train.
Yeah, there's a like transporter. What's the other one? There was like a Denzel Washington John Wick movie thing on a train. There's a lot of good train movies.
Source Code.
Yeah, yep, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think that's the one with the bomb on it or something. There's like terrorists involved.
Yep, and he keeps having to go back and like get more info, and
Yeah,
yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, do you guys have anything else for Train to Busan?
that's all for me.
Yeah, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, it's a pretty good zombie movie, pretty good train movie. Yeah, it's really well done.
Indeed. Yeah, I definitely want to see more of these zombies, these things. these types of movies and content.
Yeah,
If you do like stuff like this, we already recommend Alive. But there's a show called, I believe it's just called Kingdom, or like The Kingdom. It's also on Netflix, and it's an entire TV show in like feudal times in Korea, and it's these kind of zombies. So it's swords and zombies. It's,
sweet.
it's a pretty good show. Yeah, it's just called Kingdom. It's got like 2 seasons.
Speaking of swords and zombies, there's like a new like game coming out one of these days that's like medieval times, but zombies in it.
Hmm.
I forget what it's called. I think it's called Blight or something. Looks really cool. I'm excited for that one.
Oh yeah, Blight Survival. I just looked it
Blight
up.
Survival, that's what it is. Yeah. I never, that's kind of like a very niche genre in itself. I mean, partially niche. Zombies is definitely not niche, but yeah, the new spin on it.
Yeah. If you guys want to recommend us some Korean films to watch or other good zombie or train movies, you can always reach us at hazardousopinionspod@gmail. Shoot us an email there, or we're on Instagram under the same tag. And then you can also shoot us a message down in the description in our Discord link.
Yeah.
Join
Tell
us
us your
there and
favorite
chat
train
with us.
movie.
Yeah. How much do you love trains? Yeah. So you guys been watching anything else cool lately outside of these genres?
I've seen I started watching that docu-series on the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trials. It was on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yep.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It shed more light on it than what we knew of, like the memes and stuff, because there was actually a lot of misinformation going around. Like, because I mean, everybody's like, "Fuck Amber Heard," but you know, there's also parts to her story that also kind of made sense in a way. So, I mean,
Right.
after watching that, I'm in the end, I'm like, yeah, I don't know who the fuck the abuser was. Could be anybody, but it definitely wasn't favored towards Amber Heard for sure still. But
Hmm.
then again, there was, bad stuff on both sides.
This I watched this right when it came out, but it hooked me. I watched it all in one day. Cyberpunk Edge Runners. That was like I really loved that series. I love the Cyberpunk universe as a whole, and it brought in a new cast of characters that actually when the series came out, they added a few items from the Netflix show into the game, which I thought was cool. So
Yeah.
That is
I've been
pretty cool.
recommended that one a few times. I need to watch that.
Yeah, I've played all of Cyberpunk. I like the story of it. Obviously, had its flaws, but overall, I liked it. I've heard good things about. Would you say Cyber Runners, Cyber
Edge
the
Runners?
Edge Runners,
Edge
Yeah.
Runners? Yeah, I've heard good things about it, and I've been meaning to watch it.
it's good. It's pretty short. It's only about 12 episodes, so
Okay, nice.
I think I talked about this one on a previous episode, but I'll shout it out again because it's a really good fucking show and it's short. Beef on Netflix. It's a
Oh,
quick like
beef.
10 hours maybe. It's only like 10 episodes
okay.
because Steven Yeun is the main character and he's from South Korea, so
Yeah,
fits right in here. Very
yeah, I
good
really
show.
like that show.
It's probably one of my like definitely favorite show that came out this year. It's very good.
A lot of pop culture going on with that one.
Yeah, but our next movie pick, I think, is one of yours here, Eric.
Ooh, it is Goodfellas.
Yes, finally getting into some gangster territory in our movies here.
My whole life, I always wanted to be a gangster.
Yeah, there is a very large swath of gangster movies,
There is.
especially Irish and Italian ones. So,
Yeah, I mean, this one doesn't really set itself apart from those movies, but it's still a good watch.
very
Speaking of
excited to
that,
get into that.
I recently finished The Sopranos, which I really enjoyed. It's about
Oh,
6 seasons, so
yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Eric was
Yeah, I
working
love
on that for a
Sopranos.
while.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it is a really good show. I the ending was kind of like the last episode. The
Oh
ending was
yeah.
just kind of like abrupt, but other than that, like, yeah, I really love that show.
Yeah, and then after September, we're getting into spooky season, so I'm very excited for that. So
Spooky Dookie.
keep an eye out for new episodes and add us on social medias and just chat with us.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. It was a fun experience.
Yes, let's hope to do it again sometime.
Indeed. Well, we will see you good fellas next time.